Hello everyone, the Instant Camera Guy here. A while back I did a video showing off my modified Polaroid one-step, which I turned into a camera that I like to call the FISHEYE 600. Because it is converted to take 600 type film. I've since also modified it to take I-type format with the use of AAA batteries. And most importantly, it has been modified to have a 37mm mount fisheye lens on the front, allowing you to take incredibly wide-angle circular fisheye photos. If you want to watch the video that I did about that camera, links will be in the description below. I highly recommend that you check it out. One of the cameras that I mentioned in that video was the sequel. That I had actually turned a modern Polaroid, so this is a modern I-type camera. It is the One-Step 2, produced by Polaroid Originals, formerly Impossible Project. You can see the little Polaroid Originals badging here. Produced, I believe around 2016 they started making these, and these are a camera that I featured on the channel before as well in terms of their battery situation, because like all current I-type cameras to date, this thing also had a non-user replaceable lithium-ion battery. I have modified mine on the side here with this aluminium panel, which allows me to remove a screw, swivel that up, and replace the battery whenever I feel like it. But that is not the reason that we're talking about it today. We're talking about it because in addition to the battery mod, making it a bit more future-proof, I have also added a cold shoe adapter on the back, which I've put a fisheye viewfinder on. And I didn't make this part, but I was given it. It features another 37mm lens mount, but this time something that you can purchase off the shelf from Retrograde Engineer. Retrograde Engineer is a guy who sells Polaroid-related and Fuji Instax accessories through his little store. I'm going to link to his Instagram page below. I highly recommend you check his stuff out because he's got a lot of novel different adapters that you can purchase for various different cameras. And he sent me out two of these back when they were prototypes. Oh, I want to say like 2 years ago. And I just never got around to making a video on them. So, Retrograde Engineer, if you are watching, I am truly sorry that it has taken me such a long time to produce this content, but better late than never, hey? Now, the thing I like about this adapter the most is that it is very easy to install. Simply twist and it comes off. And that is because the outer lens surrounding on the Polaroid One-Step 2 is designed to just come off when you twist. That gives you access to being able to take the faceplate off. And so effectively you just replace it with the one that he provides. That then allows you to put on any 37mm filter accessories. And so I went out and purchased this 0.25 times fisheye adapter. It fits perfectly on the front, and there is still just enough light sensor left on the side to be able to measure ambient lights. It does block the sensor quite a large bit. However, I haven't found that to be a particularly big problem in terms of exposure on photographs. So it seems that enough light still gets through in order for the camera to expose properly. Now, I had someone in my last video ask whether or not you can use one of these filters on the modern Polaroid i2, and the answer to that is you can, but it's a lot trickier. Part of the reason that it's trickier is on this camera, the little light sensor, the electric eye, is external to the main lens, whereas on the Polaroid i2, it is placed at the bottom of the lens in amongst the filter threads. And that means that if you use like a 37mm adapter, well, effectively the adapter itself is going to cut off the electric eye, and the camera is going to think that it's like pitch black. So you could get around this, of course, by entering in the manual settings and basically controlling aperture and shutter speed on your own. That would certainly bypass that. But the second issue that the i2 has is that it is variable focus. It uses a LiDAR range-finding assembly to help assist with focus, kind of like the sonar automatic focus that Polaroid used back in the day. And basically, that LiDAR is calibrated for the lens as it currently sits. If you adapt that lens to become wider angle, then you're effectively turning that 90mm lens into like a quarter of that. And so what that means is you're now shooting like a 22.5mm lens, and basically the autofocus no longer synchronizes to the lens. So yes, you can use a lens like this on a Polaroid i2. However, you'll need to figure out a way to focus manually and probably expose manually too. But yeah, otherwise the camera basically just works exactly like normal, other than the photos now are really, really wide. And I wanted to show you guys some sample photos and then ultimately leave you with a quick little trick that you can use for these cameras if you find that they are jamming in terms of the film. So I'll discuss that in a minute, but first let's check out the photos that this thing can do. Hey everyone! Before I continue with today's video, I just wanted to take an opportunity and sponsor myself, I guess, and just thank everyone that has actively supported myself and the channel. If you would also like to support the internet's busiest independent Polaroid technician, then you can feel free to do so via the following ways. Number one is send me a camera to be repaired, like the two here, in any of my repair seasons. To figure out when I'm open and taking orders, just follow me across social media like Facebook and Instagram. I generally post when I'm doing repairs on those platforms. Second option that you have is simply to donate some spare parts. If you've got a busted up camera that you don't think can be salvaged, I'm always in the need for spares to help me save other clients' cameras, so donations are always much appreciated. You may leave a financial donation through the links to my Ko-fi account down below, either recurring or just a one-off. I don't mind either way. Or lastly, and the easiest, cheapest option, simply like, subscribe, and share the video if you find the information within it either interesting or educational. First of all, my dog Luna and her big snoot being exaggerated greatly by the fisheye lens. A self-portrait. Using the flash, I wanted to figure out how exactly the flash would work on the camera. It is, of course, much too bright, but I found that I could put some ND filter material over the flash and get a decent exposure. So this I actually used a 2-stop filter over the flash itself in order to take a self-portrait from about 30 centimeters away. I always like taking photos of trees using fisheye lenses because you get this kind of planetary look to it. Another self-portrait with my arm out as stretched as I could, just showing you guys a bit of the distance. Indoor ambient exposures, absolutely flawless. This is an SX70 that I was working on at the bench at the time. And I find that it's really nice for portraits. Another self-portrait, of course. Fisheye cameras are plenty of fun because you can use yourself as the subject. This is a photo of Ashley and I from when we hosted a photo walk here in Perth. And a few photos from that photo walk. But yeah, this thing is plenty of fun to use. Really wide, really versatile. Of course, I could always take the fisheye lens off if I don't want it to be fisheye. But yeah, the only thing that I found with the One Step 2, in addition to their batteries going bad and needing replacing, which I've done videos on in the past, is I find that the Polaroid i2 was produced during a period of time right before Polaroid thickened their formula. The One Step 2, wait, was I just saying i2? Anyway, doesn't matter. The Polaroid One Step 2 was produced using the Impossible film processing unit. So effectively the base of the camera, so this part that you see here, uses the same technology as was used in the Polaroid Instant Lab and the Impossible i1 and the Impossible Instant Lab. The rollers inside the film door have an incredibly high amount of tension. And I believe that at some time around 2016, 2017, Polaroid made their film formula even thicker than it had been previously. I also believe that this is the reason that Spectra cameras started jamming around the same time, leading to Spectrafilm being discontinued. But interestingly enough, that increased film thickness, it never really affected old Polaroid cameras, like from the classic series from the 70s and 80s, but it did start to affect anything based on the impossible film processing unit. And one of the things that I would find is that that photo ejects just fine. There's enough juice in the batteries to clearly eject film, unless the flash is also charging. See, on one of these cameras, to take a photo without the flash, you have to keep a hold of the no flash button, and that'll disable the flash as you take a photo. Well, I tend to find that when you take a photo using flash, it'll illuminate using the flash, but then the flash will begin charging again at the same time that the film's being ejected. And I tend to find that the Polaroid One Step 2 has only enough power to do one of those things at a time. It can either charge the flash or eject the film, but it cannot do both at once. Fortunately, there is a way around it. If I take a photo here using flash, and I've just loaded some old photos into this camera to give you an idea, I'm not wasting film doing this. If I take a photo using flash, watch what happens if I keep the button held down. So that just fired. The flash is charging, so when the flash is charging, it blinks, and then it becomes a solid green light once the flash is fully charged. But note how it hasn't ejected any of my film. And that is because the One Step 2, like the Polaroid Spectra, will only eject your film once you let go of the shutter button. So if you're finding that your photos are constantly jamming during ejection on your Polaroid One Step 2, try that technique. Now I'm going to show you what happens if I just hit the shutter button and let both things happen at the same time. Now it may not jam, it doesn't do it all the time, but I tend to find it does it enough to be annoying. So let's see what happens. Yeah, can you see that? So it's just jammed, it's trying to charge the flash. In fact, I think the whole thing is packed up now. So let me just see. But yeah, that's basically what happens. It completely jams up and is unable to restart its engine pretty much. Now, I tend to find that when you then put it back on charge, it spits the film out, but the camera seems to enter some kind of like safety mode. But as I said, as long as you keep your finger on the shutter button, keep it held down, and then wait for the flash to be fully charged before you let it go, I tend to find these are not a problem. But yeah, it's just a bad design. Well, I think it was a good design at the time, but I do believe that Polaroid changed their film formula to make it even thicker than what it had been previously. I'd also like to note that at no stage did Polaroid necessarily say that. I think they did it in the background and kind of just hoped that it wouldn't be an issue. But it seems that it was, because as I said, Polaroid Spectra cameras all started jamming at around that same time. And these days, if you have a Impossible Instant Lab, Polaroid Instant Lab, basically any camera, including the Impossible i1, that was based on this film processing unit, they are very prone to jamming. And I believe it's because the roller tension is just so insanely high that it can't handle the very most modern film. Anyway, that's just a theory. I don't know if any of that is true because I've never taken, high precision calipers and measured any of the film thicknesses, but something certainly changed around 2016, 2017. Regardless of those changes though, as I said, if you follow the tip that I just did, you will get beautiful results, and I certainly really enjoy using this fisheye camera. I hope you found this video entertaining, and if you did, I'd like and appreciate you to like and subscribe to the channel. Any way that you can support the channel is always appreciated, whether or not it's sending me something in to be refurbished, leaving a donation through the links below, or simply sending me some spare parts so that I may help other people's cameras. Your help is appreciated. So if you'd like to help out the busiest independent instant camera technician, you can do so using all of those things I just mentioned. Until then, I will see you in the next video.